Hi. So glad you've tuned in. They've changed things up again, but it's working, so it gives you a kind of a bit of a panic mode when you look at Facebook Live. You go to where you usually go and it says, we've moved things around a little. Like, oh no. But everything's good so far. Y'all let me know if anything goes wrong. I'm glad you're tuning in. We're going to wait a minute or so and see who all joins us. It looks like I've got 2 of you on already. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Christmas season and getting everything prepared and ready and excited about the days to come to celebrate. Thank you for taking some time to be part of the Create with Kelley crew. I am Kelley Pitts, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I have been a demonstrator since 2005. So it's been a lot of fun. Hi, Charlotte. Glad you've tuned in. Y'all let me know when you tune in, if you would. If you're not from the Lubbock area, be sure and let me know where you're from if I'm not familiar with you already. Hi, Judy. Yes, I am. My voice is finally better. Missed the last couple there. Charlotte, glad you're here. Hope everything went well this afternoon when you had to make your little trek over to see your daughter. Hope all that was all good. Hi, Susan. Glad you're watching. I didn't know if everybody would just be swamped this week of Christmas, so glad y'all have tuned in. Let me get my iPad going here since we're getting started. Let me see if I can get the computer going and the iPad going so I can see y'all's comments. Forgive me just a sec. You just flat can't do this until you push the live button, so I'm not seeing comments. Oh, there we go. I was seeing comments on my phone. So thank you, Susan, for sharing. That helps me so much to spread the news about my business, the Create with Kelley group. Hi, Cindy Pilhorn. We missed you here. Hope you're doing great in your new location. Glad you've tuned in. And thanks for turning your sister on to it. She's been tuning in quite a bit too, Sherry. So glad y'all are here. Let me see. My iPad's still not up with comments, so let me refresh that screen one more time, see if I can get there. I always like to have a backup for the comments section. Sorry about that. Thought I had it turned down and didn't. Now I've got comments on the computer and the iPad, so hooray. Hey, Cindy. Well, that's a sweet thing to say. Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful back. Glad y'all are here. I am excited. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the new items that we've got coming up with Stampin' Up. Not going to do a whole lot of it because I know y'all are busy and you've got a lot of things to do, but one of the items is from our Saleabration catalog that's coming up in January, February. Yay! So if you need a catalog, if you don't have a demonstrator already and need one, I'll be glad to send you a catalog. We have the Saleabration, that is the brochure that you get to choose items for whenever you make a $50 purchase. And then some of the items, when you make a $100 purchase, you get even more special items for free. Isn't that awesome? Okay. And this is the cover of the new mini catalog. I still can't show you any of the inside of the catalog until it goes live, which is January 4th. Okay, Cindy, I will get you some catalogs in the mail. And I know you miss being a demonstrator and getting to pre-order because we've already been playing with our stuff, gotten our stuff about a month ahead of time. So that's one of the perks of being a demonstrator. So if anybody's interested in ever talking to me about that, joining my team, we'd love to have you. We have a wonderful team that gets to do lots of things together. And so y'all let me know if anybody else needs a catalog. And we will get started here shortly. Let me show you a sneak peek of the card. And then we'll turn the camera down. I think we've given folks enough time, hopefully, to get on, about 5 minutes. So tonight we're going to do what's called an impossible card, because this starts off with a card base that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is our typical size of a folded card base. And this is what we start with. And then we make this card from it. How cool is that? See, this part stands up, it lays flat, goes in an envelope. It's just like that. I'm kind of covering up part of the flower there. See if I can do it like this and get it going. But it looks like it's impossible for all that to come out of one sheet of cardstock. And here it is from the back with the little standing. And here's the back, or the bottom. So, have y'all figured that out? How to make that happen? It looks like it's impossible, right? That's why it's called the impossible card. But it's really pretty easy to do. So, I'm going to show you, since you've tuned in on Christmas week here, you get to see how you can magically make this card happen, make it possible, even though it looks impossible. And you can do this out of any cardstock and coordinating designer series paper. You can stamp your own paper. You can do a lot of things with just this simple template. So I will turn the camera around and show you that. Thanks for tuning in. All right, y'all be patient with me while I turn the camera down. Don't want to make anybody seasick or anything while I switch it over. Let's see, hopefully I've got that pushed. It's not really showing like it usually does, so we shall see when I get the camera down. And it takes just a few seconds here for me to be able to tell where we are. Let's see if we are facing the right way. It looked like it wasn't letting me switch my camera. Nope, it didn't. Okay, we're going to try again. Have y'all ever heard that when you get older, you kind of lose your fingerprints? You lose some of the, I don't know what it's called in there, but I think my hands are just so dehydrated. I'm going to use my little, make it a little wetter. Here we go. We're going to switch these cameras again. Did that work? Heavens, I hate having, this may be part of what they changed and you can't tell it. Dadgum. Y'all are going to need to see what I'm doing. There we go. Finally got it. Sorry about that. Like I said, I don't know if it's just my hands are so dry that it's not reading my fingerprints anymore, or what's going on. Let's see if I can get that straight now that we finally got it facing the right way. And get our little card out here. And this will hopefully not be a long video, so y'all can get back to your prep. Who all's all set for Christmas, and who all is realizing, like I have today, that, whoops, I hadn't even thought about getting a gift for that. I forgot that was coming up. That kind of thing. And I'm going to give you a little, this is hand drawn. I still do not know how to do this on the computer and make it all pretty graphics. So this is what we have to deal with. But tonight it's like I said, it's a pretty simple card. I just really need the trimmer. And if y'all have taken a screenshot of that or whatever, I'll go back over the sizes as we go. But it starts off with the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base, like I said. And we're gonna move this out of the way. And I'm gonna put the little score tool up here. And we're going to score this in half. And half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So that is not the little bitty mark by the 2, but the next one, in case y'all are not used to reading rulers. Some people aren't, I know. Some people are used to the 1/4 marks, but not the 1/8 mark. So 2 1/8. And you're reading from, oops, let me scoot this over a little bit so y'all can see a little bit better. This is the 0 line. That's where you're measuring from to this way. So I'm saying 2 and then the one bigger mark over right here. So that's 2 1/8. And we're going to score. So we're going to use the light colored blade. and come up from the bottom. And I usually do 2 or 3 times to make sure I've got a deep enough score. Maybe a little more, press a little harder. Okay, so all the way across at 2 1/8. Let me see if I can get that. May need to move my camera up a little bit so y'all can see a little more detail. Let's see if we can, we have to readjust it again, sorry, but y'all can see more this way, hopefully. Let's see how this works. Okay, now we're going to turn it, and from the top, we're going to cut halfway across. So half of 5 1/2 by 11 is 2 3/4. So again, we're measuring from here over. So we're going to the 2 3/4 mark, and we're going to start. We'll move the scorer out of the way. Start at your score line and go up. See how this shows you right in the middle? You've got it scored here in the middle horizontally. Now we're going to take from the horizontal score and go all the way up at 2 3/4. Okay? Then we're going to flip it over. And you don't have to flip it to the back. You could do either way, because you're going to go cut at 1 inch from the side. This is the bottom part. So this is at 1 inch or 4 1/2. Yeah, so you're 1 inch in from each end is the way you do it. And you go from the score line up. So put your little cutting tool has a little mark right in the middle there, and it should be lined up at the 2 1/8 mark, right here where the score is, and go up at 1 inch in. So you've got it 1 inch over here. I think that's the easiest, just to flip it on both sides so that I'm reading from here to here. Now, just go to where the score line is and go up. So you're at 1 inch either way. I need to change my blade. It's a little fuzzy there. Okay? And that's all we have of that. Okay. Now, we're going to make the magic happen. Are y'all ready? I've only done this once. I've just done it tonight, just the sample card that I did about an hour ago. So I haven't had a lot of experience at this. We'll see how this works. But it's the impossible card, and we're making it possible, and I'm showing you how. So all we're going to do, I'm going to score where that's scored. I'm going to fold that so it kind of stands up. We can see where we want to go from there. And all we're doing is flipping that part around, okay? So you've got 2 L shapes and then this in the middle. It just doesn't even look possible that these little squares could somehow have that flap, but that's all it is. We're going to do it again. I'm going to show you again. Okay, this is the piece. You've got it scored here. You've got it cut to the score and cut. This is in 1 inch from each end, and this is at 2 3/4. And all you do is kind of hang on to this flap and turn this side. Isn't that fun? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. How about that? And then we're just going to use the bone folder and get that scored really well. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Sherry. Glad y'all are here. Yes, Judy, it wasn't letting me change. So hopefully y'all have got me where you can see me now. Alrighty. I thought I made it further away so y'all could see a bigger area. See if we're doing this. Okay. Now, all we're going to do... Oh, shoot. I forgot. We're going to cut these. We're going to move that out of the way. And we've got 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper. These are 2 1/2 by 4 inches. So we've got 2 of those. That should have a parentheses there. 2 1/2 by 4. And whenever you're cutting your paper, the Designer Series paper comes in a 12 inch by 12 inch square. Okay? So you need to think about which way, if it's directional, which this could work either way. I kind of think it's intended to go vertically, just the way these leaves are going. But some of the leaves are going down and some up. So this way it doesn't matter, but this way I think it'd look a little funny sideways. So that means that the 4-inch side is going to need to be right here. Whenever you cut your designer series paper, a lot of card designs, and the way when I designed something, and this was definitely not mine. I saw it, Julie Davison has done this impossible card several times, and this is similar to her template. I think I've changed just a little bit of something, not much, but people have been doing it for years. I just never have, so I definitely don't get credit for creating the card. But anyway, I haven't seen it. This is brand new paper that's from the Saleabration catalog. I'll show you the whole package shortly. But you have to think about, okay, if I'm going to have a 4-inch side, I want that side to be going this way because I want my pattern to be going this way. So that means I'm going to have to cut my paper across here. So we're going to turn the paper this way, and we can just cut the bottom off instead of the top. It doesn't matter. So you're going to go over to the 4-inch mark and go all the way up. And there's your 4-inch strip. Then you're going to cut 2 pieces at 2.5 by 4, which I've already done, but I'm going to make more than one of these cards. I think I'm going to be using this for a swap coming up. So 2.5 inches. You're going to cut 2 of them at 2.5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead while I'm here and finish off this sheet. Because why ever not? Okay, 2.5. And then you'll have a small piece that you'll set aside and use for something else. Okay, then you can cut your 2 pieces. We're going to cut the little square part out. And this way, oh my, let's see. I don't think I wrote that anywhere. But on this one, you're going to go 3/4 inches, 3/4 of an inch in. And you're going to go up to the 2-inch mark. And then we're going to turn it to the side. Okay, this whole piece is 2.5 by 4. That's what these are. Hang on. Yeah, 2.5 by 4. So that's the full size. And then we're going to take it and go over 3/4 of an inch. And since this is 4 inches tall, we're going to go to the halfway mark, which would be 2 inches. So we're going to say 3/4 inch up to 2 inches. It's a little hard to see because I'm not directly over the trimmer like you would be if you were cutting it normally. Okay, then we're going to go turn it to the right hand side, and we're going to go 2 inches that way. And you cut out the big square part. The first time I did this, I cut it the wrong way. So I ended up where I cut out the little part instead of cutting out the big square. See, this one has the, let's see if I can make these right. See, this one has the big square cut out and it leaves a little tail. It kind of makes like a little bee without the opening. So don't cut it like this, like I did initially. Do it like this, where you're cutting out, and I'll save this little pattern up here so y'all can hopefully see what I'm doing. I've got this flap up here, that's 3/4 of an inch wide, and I moved it over to the 2-inch mark. Now we're lining this up at 2 inches, and we're going to cut. You can either go to the cut line and go down, but I normally cut up against the edge of my cutter to make sure I keep it straight. So I'm going to take, whoops, we're going to cut both pieces at the same time. Except I didn't cut that one. Oh well. let's go ahead and do this one, the 3/4 inch. Is that the bottom or the top? I think it doesn't really matter on this. 3/4 inch up to the 2 inch mark. Okay. Now we've got both of these the same. So we're going to go to the 2 inch mark over this way. And we're going to take it from here to where it's cut. I'm not sure if y'all can see where it's cut, but what we're doing is this right here. We're cutting out that little square. So we're just going up to the 3/4 inch mark. And we're taking out these little squares, and we'll be able to use those somewhere else. So now we've got our pieces like this. And we're going to take our card, get our little silicone mat for the glue so I don't make a mess on my little mat over here. And we'll get our, you could use Stampin' Seal, you could use liquid glue. I happen to have liquid glue in here. I don't seem to have a Stampin' Seal in front of me, so we'll just use this. Just your favorite liquid glue. I found a nice little container that has a really fine tip, so I transferred my glue into it. I really think it keeps it from drying out and getting all yucky. Okay, we're gonna make sure we did this the right way. I hope we did. We may not have after all that. Let's see. That would be dreadful. Let's see if I can do it the backwards way. There we go. So before you put any glue down, make sure it does indeed fit on your deal. If it doesn't, turn it around like I did. So it should work the way we cut it. So I'm just going to rescore that. And you should have, let me see if this is close enough. Hopefully you can see that. I've got a border kind of all the way around that's about the same, but this one is tucked up right by the score line there, right by the edge. So if you line up all the other ones, just that one should be correct. We're just going to put a little liquid glue all the way around. Line that up. And we still have a little wiggle room with that glue, so we can kind of move it over a little bit if it's not exactly right. And fold that over, make sure it works. It's not too close, that works. Alrighty. I just go all the way around the edges, make sure all my corners have a little glue on them, a little squiggle in the middle. Doesn't take a whole ton of glue. So just put both of those on. Get that kind of straight. Make sure that folds, because this card will fold flat and just mail in a regular envelope. Okay, there's that. Then we've got two pieces of, oh, I didn't tell you, this is Pear Pizzazz, one of the coordinating colors that's in the Designer Series paper. And I think these flowers are prettier. I really think either side could be front or back. So I guess those flowers will show up enough. So the Mossy Meadow layer that I had, let's show you that. We'll move this over. We got the glue done. We'll get that out of the way. So I chose to do a Mossy Meadow layer and then a white layer. If you didn't want to frame it with a different color, you could just make this layer the largest size, which would be 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. So if you do want to layer it like this one with the Hello Friend, you would do that layer at 1 5/8 by 3. So 1 7/8 by 3 1/4 and 1 5/8 by 3. And I've already got those cut, I believe. If I don't, I'll have to make another plan. Oh, well, I should have 2 of those. I don't know where it is. Let's see. Okay. I guess I thought I had it and I don't somehow. Oh, I found it. I found it on the floor. So we're going to go ahead and glue that down, this layer. And we can put one on both sides if y'all just want to put one on the front. And that way you could make the white layer larger on the back if you wanted. I just decided to go ahead and make a match and do the full 1 7/8 by 1 3/4 on the Mossy Meadow. Okay, so both sides of that. There we go. Now we'll do our go ahead and do our base. Well, no, we'll do some stamping, I guess. Yeah, and then we'll put the little bridge across. Alrighty. This is using the Hello Friend stamp set, which is also a celebration item. It does not coordinate. It does not come with the paper, but it does coordinate with the paper. Let me show you real quickly in the, oh, I can't show you. Never mind. Get in trouble. Okay, I can't show you out of the catalog. Sorry, I'll have to go get the stamp set. I kind of forgot that for a moment. But it is from the Hello Friend stamp set. So we're going to, whoop, I think I changed my mind. I did initially I tried Evening Evergreen, but I decided I liked initially I tried Mossy Meadow, and then I switched to the Evening Evergreen. I thought the darker looked a little better. So we're going to, oops, I kind of got a little messy here. That is not a surprise, I know. Cindy and Sherry, glad I'm giving y'all something to connect over. That's fun to have sisters watching. Thank y'all for both tuning in. Are y'all getting together for Christmas this year? Who all is having company come and who all is going somewhere? Anybody want to chat about their holiday plans? What you're doing for Christmas while we're stamping? We're just using Evening Evergreen on the piece of white and stamping straight down, straight up. As I said, this is from the brand new Saleabration catalog that is coming up that y'all will be able to order from on January 4th. If you're a customer and if you're a team member, you already can order from it. How about that? Alrighty, now we're going to do the little flower, and I tried a couple of different things. Let me see if I brought those options in here. Doesn't look like I did, but I tried a couple of different stamps and decided I liked this big one the best to kind of fill this space. Thought that was pretty the way the Hello Friend is stacked, right, justified as it is. And you don't, this is a big double stamp with 2 flowers on it, but that doesn't mean you have to have room for 2 flowers. We're just going to fill this in right here. Let me see how I did that. I think I did it this way. There we go. Where it just stamps off of the paper, and that's just fine. But all you have to do is on your stamp pad, you don't have to waste the ink and stamp the whole thing. I just lined up that 1 flower and did it that way. All right, we're going to let that dry. Clean this off really quickly. Yeah, here's one of the other options. One of the other stamps was a flower with leaves, and I thought that was too That didn't work, and I didn't like the two-tone with this in the Mossy Meadow and that in Evening Evergreen. So I also tried it with this little leaf and decided to put that on the back instead. So that's how we came up with this. Now we're going to go ahead and stamp that leaf on the back. You can see that's how I did here to leave room to sign your card and say, "Happy birthday, Judy from Kelley," or whatever. There you go. Now we'll get another fern. All of the stamps in this set are from the one Hello Friend stamp set that comes with a designer paper. You get the stamp set and a designer paper, not the one I used today. But with a $100 purchase, you can get it for free. And I just thought it was pretty, leaving just the little fern or stamp, fern or plant or whatever you want to call it, for the back, and then leave room for you to sign your name, like I said. And that I stamped in Pear Pizzazz. These are Evening Evergreen. And you want to let this flower dry a little bit before you go after it with the blends. It doesn't matter that it bleeds just a little bit, but that's just perfectly fine. It's no big deal. Because if you just don't need to go all the way to the edge of the flower. And to me, the flowers that are in the paper are kind of a teeny bit pinker than just the pale papaya color itself. But, so I used a little bit of Flirty Flamingo in mine, but we're going to try ours with just the pale papaya. We've got a light pale papaya, which we'll just go all over the whole thing real quickly with the light. And it doesn't have to be exact. This is a very loosey-goosey kind of image. All right, now I'm going to use a little bit of the light Flirty Flamingo, like I said, because I thought it had a teeny bit of pink in there and not just orangey like the papaya has. It had... So this flower is not the exact flower that is on the Designer Series paper, since it's not the one that matches it. But I think it looks great with it. And all I'm doing are following the little lines that the Stampin' Up artist gave us to follow. And then I'm also going in underneath. Let's move that one out of the way for right now, so y'all can see what I'm doing. And this petal is underneath that petal. Okay? So I'm going to leave these a little bit lighter edges. And then you can kind of take and blend a little bit. It's really, you don't have a ton of room to do a lot of that. So it's really not that critical whether you, how much you blend or what you do. But I just think wherever there's a shadow, like this one is going to be shadowed, this petal, because it's below that one. And this one is behind that one. So you put the darker where you think it's the back petals, and then also darker in the middle, closer to this area. And then on the flowers themselves, they look kind of like they're a lighter green in there. So you could use, let's see. We don't have a Pear Pizzazz. I think I'm just going to leave it like it is, because there's not much showing on here. It's really Mint Macaron that's kind of showing here, and we don't have any other of that color besides in there. Well, we'll just try it. We'll see how it looks. We can always change it. We'll get that really quickly. We'll just do a little tiny bit of the dark Mint Macaron in there, because that makes it match the paper a little better. And I'm going to go back with the light pale papaya. I've got a little bit of a line there that I don't like. So you just take and blend with your Stampin' Blends that are our alcohol-based markers. And that will take those lines right out and blend it. Isn't that pretty? Easy peasy. I love these markers. Okay. And I thought that we just needed some Stampin' Dimensionals to pop this up on the front. And make sure when you're using the blends, just a reminder, it does go through it does bleed through the paper. So you want to make sure you've got something protecting your work surface when you're using the blends. And sorry, my voice is still kind of croaky, but it is so much better than it was the last couple of weeks. I couldn't have gotten through an hour of talking for anything. Okay, we're going to center the Hello Friend here on the front. Didn't center it very well. So if you don't stick your Stampin' Dimensionals all the way down, if you just kind of lay them on there until you get it positioned, see, then if it's in the right spot, you can push them down. And on the back, I decided that I thought it was a better idea not to use dimensionals, because if you're going to write on there, that's going to make it difficult when you write your name on whoever's birthday card this is. And probably if you do this for somebody, you'd go ahead and fill that out before you glued this on, but we are going to glue it on today. There we go. Now, that's the front. This is the back. Lays flat for an envelope. Heck of a deal. Okay, now, obviously, this would not be very sturdy by itself. So you got to have something to bridge that gap and make it sturdy. And that is going to be our little bridge piece right here that is 1 by 5.5. And if you just wanted to use cardstock and stamp on it, you could and just leave it that size. But I decided to do a piece of Designer Series paper to pick up the pale papaya colors that are in there. And this is another sheet of the Designer Series paper that I'll show you front and back in a moment when we finish the card. And I decided to stamp directly on the Designer Series paper. So this is 3/4 inch by 5.5. It goes all the way across even with the Mossy Meadow strip. And then has a border top and bottom. And I think Julie Davison's did 5/8 inch, but I did 3/4. So however you want to do it is just fine and dandy. But I thought the Hello Friend was pretty with the birthday sentiment. So hopefully we have that here. So I can stamp it. Here it is. Let me take a water break. And if anybody needs any of the products that I'm showing tonight, they will all be available in my online store starting January 4th. And I'll be glad to help you with that if you decide you need something. Let's close that glue up. And we're going to go ahead and stamp that birthday greeting. And the good thing is that if you mess up your Designer Series paper and you don't have some more exactly like this or enough, this comes in a 12 by 12 sheet, so you really have a lot of do-overs there. But you can just put a white label on it, stamp it on a label, and do it that way. But I'm just going to line it up as best I can. Hope you have the best birthday. Awesome. Straight down, straight up. And I'm doing the evening evergreen on that too. And I felt like it needed a little something something. So I decided to use some of the pale papaya ribbon. That is one of our in colors for this year. And this is one of the in color ribbons that's in pale papaya. And I did a little bow. I'll show you here. And I initially just did a bow and tried to stick it on, and I thought it looked funny, and so I didn't really want to have to do all of this off of the roll and tie a ribbon around this way, but I really liked the way that looked. So I decided it was worth it. We're going to use a little extra ribbon so that we tie it onto the piece of designer series paper. And if you do it just one crossover like that, your ribbon's not going to lay right. So you actually have to make a square knot, and I do right over left, usually right over left and left over right, and pull more on the left and get that square knot in there first. And then I did the bow. Just however you normally do a bow. And then you hold it in the middle here to tighten it. Once you've already tied it, you've got to mess with it a little bit to get it exactly right. But if you keep holding that center part, when you mess with it, it works a lot better. And then I'm going to take my ribbon scissors that hopefully I brought in here. And I don't think I did. Yep. I'm on the ball tonight, I tell you what. And Steve and I even took a walk and everything. We put our little coats on. I put my ear muffs on. After having a cold, I don't want all that, any of that cold air going in my lungs. Well, it went in my lungs, but I didn't want it going in my ears. My mom was always very, very cautious about getting earaches and thinking that was going to make you sick and all that kind of stuff. So I cannot walk outside with the wind blowing or anything without just hearing her in my head saying, cover your ears, cover your ears. So I put my little earmuffs on, even though it was it was probably 50 degrees, but nevertheless, isn't that amazing that our parents still have an influence over us when we're already over 60 and they've been gone for years, and I can still hear some of the things that they said, and it just kind of comes up. And I know it's wonderful to be loved, isn't it, everybody? Yes, Charlotte, she did always wear a headscarf. Absolutely. Oh, goodness. Yep. Winnie wore a headscarf all the time. She had to cover those ears. Which was healthy. She lived to be in her 80s, so it paid off. Okay. Yes, Charlotte, I wasn't in the Girl Scouts. I know you were in the Girl Scouts, but I wasn't in the Girl Scouts. For those of y'all who don't know, Charlotte and I went to school together, all the way grade school on up through high school in Colorado City, Texas. Small town gals. I see that Jennifer's celebrating with family out of town Friday, another group on Saturday in town. Cindy is not going to get to see her sister for Christmas, and I know we miss being with family during that time of year, but it's good to have friends to be with too. So I'm glad y'all are hanging out with me tonight during the Christmas season. Hope y'all have a wonderful Christmas coming up. Okay, we are going to, I just line this up on one end. Doesn't matter which end, just try to get the border even top and bottom, and just kind of lay it on there with your dimensionals and make sure you've got it where you want it, and then press down on your dimensionals. Still futzing with the ribbon a little bit. I'm just going to whack that off a little bit. Okay. As I said, this is the bridge that's going to hold your card together and make it sturdy. So we're just going to glue there. I'm going to put my finger about where I don't want any glue right here. So I'm going to take it and put the glue right here. Then I'm going to see about where that is. Yep, I've got that about right. Let's see if I got a little more. Yep. So I've got about that much room on this end. And you only want to put glue there. So all this middle section is going to stay with no glue because that's going to be this gap. And you can put this as high or low as you want it, maybe kind of in the middle of the gap. Probably depends on how your designer series paper is, if there's something you want to cover up or not cover up. But this is just made to brace the card so it's going to stay all together. When you put it in an envelope like this, I'll show you an envelope. Well, here's a clear one. I had a white one earlier, but I don't see it at the moment. But there's your clear envelope. So it just fits flat in there just like a regular card. And now I realize why I didn't mess with the green in the middle a while ago. If y'all think it needs to be bejeweled, we can certainly do that. But I wanted to show you both ways. This has the champagne rhinestones on here that I've scattered on the first one. And I don't have anything here. This one is just colored. But it's still really pretty. But some people like bling and some people are not so blingy. So you could do it either way. Whatever y'all think. Do y'all think it works like this? Like if I'm doing a swap with 16 of them, I don't know that I have enough champagne rhinestones for that. But if you have plain rhinestones, you can take your blends and color those to make them whatever color you need that we have an alcohol marker in. So there's my card. It looked impossible when you really think about how does this square come out of this long rectangle come out of those two squares. But it was an easy thing, right? So there's your back, front and back. And I think, oh, I'm glad you like it, Charlotte. Okay. Hope y'all learned something new tonight. We will, let me show you the pack of paper from Saleabration, and then I'll let you go. Let me see what time it is. Oh yeah, we didn't even take an hour. Thank you, Charlotte. I'm glad you like them. Okay, this is the sheet that I took the pale papaya polka dots from, and you can see the daffodils on the other side. Then we have this sheet with lots of different flowers on it, and this is the reverse side of it, a little plaid with pale papaya and flirty flamingo. And then we have this sheet, which will be great to cut here, probably cut a little bit more of the middle out. And then you could die cut this, or you could make, you've got a 12-inch space, so you can cut that into 4 3-inch strips or 3 4-inch strips and make those into card fronts. So you could have at least 6 card fronts out of this and possibly 8, depending on how you wanted to do that. Isn't that fun? And then on the reverse side of that paper is a pale papaya and flirty flamingo stripe. And then we have some daffodils on this paper. This is a crushed curry color. And the reverse of that one is just a black and white one with a fun little cross in there. Or I don't know what you call that. Then we have this sheet that's got a lot of different flowers on it. And the reverse side of it is kind of a crushed curry color. And this is called Daffodil Afternoon. Basic black, crushed curry, daffodil delight, evening evergreen, flirty flamingo, mint macaron, mossy meadow, pale papaya, pear pizzazz, and very vanilla. And this is one of the papers that's available. You'd get this whole pack of 12 papers, two of each design, and for free for a $50 order. You can order $50 out of the current mini catalog, or we'll have the new mini catalog at the time, or the annual catalog. And that's what I have to show you in the Saleabration set. So I will turn the camera on around and we will let y'all go. Oh, I'm glad you like that paper, Jennifer. Yeah, I think we'll be doing some fun things with that. Oh, Susan likes it too. Yay. Okay, hold on while I switch the camera again. There we go. Yep, it just doesn't want to do right for me tonight. Okay, well, let me hold up these cards, and y'all just have a wonderful Christmas. Thanks again for tuning in tonight to see how to make an impossible card. Have y'all ever seen these before or done these before? Anybody? Kind of fun and not as hard as they look. Just uses the quarter sheet of cardstock and less than a quarter sheet of the designer series paper and a little bit of extra cardstock and maybe some embellishments, maybe some ribbon, but you can dress it up however you want. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. I'm glad you enjoyed the cards, and thanks for being part of the Create with Kelley crew, and hope you'll tune in again next Wednesday for one more episode. I'm going to do it at 7:15 next Wednesday, and then it looks like I'm going to switch to noon on Wednesdays instead and see how that goes, because I hate interfering with people's dinner hour. So thank you again for tuning in. Y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thanks again. Have a great one. Bye-bye. Hey, Judy. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.